Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting of the Titusville City Council at 5:30 on August 28th, 2018. We have a quorum, so I will call the meeting to order. First order of business is the invocation. Are there any pastors out there that would like to say the invocation? I don't see any. With that, we'll just take a moment of silence. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first order of business is Special Olympics softball team.
Yes, sir. I think our Special Olympics softball team is just now arriving, so I'd recommend to council that we go ahead and do this right now.
Kind of figured. One moment, please.
And while we're coming in, you can see some pictures of our team.
Are we good to, we have a couple people coming, or can we go ahead and start the thing? Okay, we have a couple people coming.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Representing the state of Florida at the 2018 Special Olympics Games held in Seattle, Washington last month, our very own Brevard Bandits Unified Softball Team knocked off the host team, Washington State, 14-5 to win their second straight gold medal. The Brevard Bandits played a total of 5 games in Seattle, posting a 4 wins, 1 loss record. The only loss was by 1 run, but they rebounded to defeat the Indiana team in the semifinals 14-11 to advance to the gold medal round. And of note, this team has been together for 9 years, and they are also a gold medal recipients in the 2014 Special Olympics held in New Jersey. And there they rallied to win 19-18 to capture their first gold medal. So Mayor, we'd like to present the team certificate.
He's one of them that's on his way.
We'll hold this for him. Derek Schweitzer. Tabitha Laney. Gina Rawl. Sam Swanson.
He's also on his way.
David Lazier. Katie Haggerty. Austin Schlenker.
Is that
Did I pronounce that right?
That's my son.
Okay. Lou Schlenker. Liz Oliver. Dexter Williams.
I got two more to read, but sir, before we present these, what the certificate of appreciation reads is, the city of Titusville, Florida is pleased to present this certificate to, and the team member is there, for your many hours of volunteering as a partner in the Special Olympics softball team Bandits, dated August 28, 2018, signed Walt Johnson, Mayor.
You notice it. Chuck Conway.
Okay, team, so here's where the participation part comes in. I'd like for you all to come up and gather around here, because if we don't get a picture of the event, it didn't actually happen. And we'd like to get the city council to join us down here on the floor to capture this, this most special moment.
Come on down.
Special.
What I need you to do is face the camera and just kind of come on down here, and I'll let Curtis direct you from there.
Yeah, there you go.
Tallest one's in the back, please.
Let Papa go.
So you're definitely in the back.
Come back here with me. Tall guys.
Big guy.
There we go.
What about you, Clayton? You're tall.
There we go.
I'm tall, too.
Get over here, man.
You can be way in the back. It might get tricky. Oh, wait a minute. You come back over here, Chris. Come back over there. Come back over here. Like Russell Dan will get by you. Yeah, Uncle Dan talking.
Looks good.
It's too late.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Do a couple more. 1, 2, 3.
Everybody done?
All right.
Thank you all.
President Clayton, let's stay with Uncle Dan.
Thank you guys so much. This means a lot to our team and to Special Olympics. Thank you. Yes, it was the whole community that got us there, so thank you very much.
Open up your
Wait. Over here. No. You stay out of the picture.
Okay, wait. Here we go.
Open up the certificate.
Okay, wait.
Made it. Good deal. Fine.
All right. Rename these on, Chris. What are we doing?
We're doing this down there too, right? Lean 6. That little one pulling up there. Bye-bye, thank you.
So we're just looking forward to the third gold medal in, what, 2022 now?
Yeah, there you go.
Third now. Yes, sir. That's awesome.
Very nice. Next order of business, Lean Six Sigma, Green Belt certificates.
Yes, sir. Lean Six Sigma has become a successful process in eliminating waste within the city government. Over the past year, we've had 20 employees complete and pass the Green Belt course and are currently working on projects to obtain their Green Belt certifications. Tonight, Mr. Don Johnson is present, and we are going to present the Green Belts to 6 people: Ken Hutchings, Victor Rodriguez, Ibis Bernardi, Paul Bellington, and Phyllis Smith. So, Don, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here with Lisa to present these certificates to some very deserving recipients. These people have gone through a lot in terms of working hard for the county and the city to make sure that their projects were successful, which is no small task. And the things that they're doing are of real benefit to the city. So we are thrilled to be here to present them now, their Greenbelt certificates. And once you're a Greenbelt for life. So I encourage the city and all of you to keep using these resources to the benefit of the city. So I'd like to present the first one, and as I call out their names, I'd like them to come up, we'll shake their hands, and we'll take a group photo later. Phyllis Smith. E.B. Berardi. Victor Rodriguez. Congratulations. Paul Ballington. And Ken Hutchings.
I personally want to congratulate all of you. I read through all the things that you had to do and accomplished, and it was terrific. So thank you very much for what you did.
So Mayor, if I could have you go down on the floor and bring everybody up for the pictures so it actually did occur.
Sure. Otherwise, it didn't happen. Block you out.
Lisa needs to be up front. All right. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna take a couple. 1, 2, 3.
Item 4C, the city's website hosts several interactive maps that are available to the public. Information such as zoning, the availability of utilities, and flood zones are available by locating the address of the property through the city's online map portal. Several interactive story maps are also available, including parks and trails, capital improvements, historic resources, and the Hopkins Avenue resurfacing project. Brad Parrish is here to demonstrate the online interactive tool to council and receive any feedback that you may have. This has been an ongoing project that I believe is very successful, and we're really proud of staff of what they've accomplished with this tool. Brad?
Thank you. Well, I wanted to show you interactive maps from the city's website. It was working before. I apologize. We'll get there.
It's on our, I think,
Is it? You can see it?
on our laptop here.
Ah, there. Okay, so I'm just have a better eyesight. Okay. All right. Well, on the very top right, you'll see a link at the website called GIS Maps, and what I'm trying to get at to, and there we go. Well, I'll be slow. Almost there. We're getting there. Okay. Okay. Well, this was working previously, and I apologize. But
No
what I
need,
want to
Brad.
point out was when you, I'm sorry?
I say no need.
Okay.
It's things happen. It's okay.
So-
We got some time. You want to?
Oh, there.
Yeah, you should see a new page now, and it has 4 slides or 4 icons on the top there. And I don't know if you can do it from your computers. You could just click on that link called GIS Maps in the top right. Anywhere you are on the city's website, you should see that link. So you'll never get lost as to where it is. When you click on that link, you'll see this new page called Titusville Maps. I showed this to you once before, but we didn't have the ability to show it interactive. I just showed you some slides. And even since that time, we've been building onto this. So there's a lot I can show you here, but I'm only going to take about 10 minutes of your time really to go through a few of these. This is really a collaboration between...
What'd you do, Matt? It's working for me.
It was working. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Thank you. All right. I just need to be gentle with it. This is a collaboration between the Community Development Department, the Water Resources Department, the IT Department, and Public Works. And we've been meeting for several years. Actually, it really started out with Community Development and IT for the first several years ago, and we've just been adding on with some members from Water Resources and then Public Works to continue the collaboration and adding on to this. And this really started out with when we had one map specialist working in our department several years ago who retired, and we realized we couldn't replace him. And we decided to utilize a license that the city already had, which is with ESRI, which is the company that gave us a license to be able to do this GIS work. And so we started converting a lot of the information that this previous specialist had, this map specialist that we had in our staff, into this platform. And so what I'm going to show you is our zoning map, our online zoning map, that you can go into and you can click on a piece of property and find out what the zoning is on that property and a lot of other information on that property as well. And this has really helped us with interacting with the public and with developers and with applicants and properties and getting permits and being able to answer their questions real quick. And it's actually reduced a lot of our phone calls coming into our department as well. The second map you see there is utilities map, and that was created by the Utilities Department, the Water Resources Department, and they maintain that. And from that map, we can identify whether there is a water main or sewer main nearby and adjacent to a particular piece of property and be able to answer the question, is there service available? The third one, there is capital improvements. That's a story map, and I'll show you an example of what that is. It just kind of shows you geographically the location of improvements that we plan to do in the city based on our budget. The fourth one there is really important too. That's the application for developments that are under review. And from that map, you can see the location of projects that are under review right now, such as a rezoning or a conditional use permit or even a site plan. And then there are a few more that I'll show you as well. This one I'm just going to quickly show you, and then I'll go on to the other ones. I'm not going to spend too much time on each one. I'm going to allow you to explore them. So when you click in, you'll see a series of layers here that you can turn on and off, basically. So we have one where automatically turns on to the zoning. So when you click into a particular property, you can zoom in on it. You can even use the search tool. There you go. And that should take us to City Hall, and you can see right away what the zoning is on that property. You can also click on the property, and it should also give you the option of opening up the city's website to the city's land development code, so you can find out information about that particular zoning on that property right away. And there are links in our code as well that we email to people as well. So we try to digitize as much as possible, and this has made our work a lot more efficient. You can also turn on some of the other layers and find out about a future land use on the particular property, whether it's located in one of our special overlays that we have. We have an airport overlay, a potable water area code of concern overlay. And also you can find out on some properties whether there is a variance that might have been approved on a particular property or a special permit as well. And you'll see some additional records pop up. And when you click on those, it gives you a little bit of information about that, especially the case number, and that really helps us find that particular case for people. So that's what that's all I'm going to show you on this one. The next one, the utilities, I'll quickly show you. when you click into a particular property, again, you can turn on a set of layers and find out whether the property is close to adjacent to a utilities in particular. All right, there we go. So let's try City Hall again. And so I'll turn on a couple layers here. You can see, get an idea of how that works. And so right away, I can tell you whether there's a sewer main right near that property. That's just an example. And the utilities department maintains this information for us. I'm going to jump over to this particular story app. It's called the Development Applications. This one is really popular, especially with economic development. We get questions about what's going on in the city. We send them to this particular app, and they are able to find out what projects are going on in the city. You can click on, for example, here, let's see, let's try Indian River, and that'll show me exactly where that is and give me a little bit of information about that site plan. I can click on another one, and it will tell me a little bit of information about that one as well. This is the Kmart building, and there's a proposal to put an indoor storage there at one point. We try to keep this up to date as best as we can. We also include information in these tables here about upcoming rezonings that are happening, and we give some information about the date of the public hearing. Some of them have already passed, and especially some conditional use permits, for example, were approved. We keep them up here because they have a certain expiration date. So that's what I want to show you on that particular app. If you scroll over, you'll see some more apps that we created with the help of the other departments. We also have a Hopkins Avenue resurfacing project story map, similar to the one I just showed you. Parks and Trails, which is really well done. We have an intern that helped us out with this. And so you can zoom in on different areas of the city and find out which particular parks, whether they're maintained by the city or maintained by the county. And even some trails as well are included as here. And a little bit of information about those particular parks or trails. And we also included links that will link you to additional information about them. Now this is working really well. Okay, historic preservation is another one that has become very popular. And so you can find out some information about which particular properties are actually on the local register, which are on the national register, and about the historic downtown as well, the national district. We also host apps from other organizations. We have a story map that was created by the school board about the surtax and the projects that are how that money is being used. We also have a very useful app that was created by the county, and we host on the site as well, and that is the location of the flood zones in the city. Well, actually, it's for the entire county, but you can zoom into the city and find out particular flood zones for your particular property. So this is not something we had to create ourselves. We can host these kind of apps from other organizations. And then further down, you'll see information about open data. You can click on this and actually download particular data that a specialist or a GIS analyst might want to need or use, such as other agencies. They ask for this kind of information all the time. And so we have up-to-date information here that they can just take from us without having to call us. And then these other apps are just another way of viewing the same apps I just showed you. So that's basically it. We're continuing to update this. We're continuing to work with other departments on coming up with some story maps. I can If you have any questions, I can go open up any others or answer any questions about them. There was one that was just brand new that we added on here, and it has to do with and this is created with the help of the Public Works Department. And this is a special zoning story map of the new park renovation that's happening over at 50 and US 1. So I'd encourage you to scroll through that and find see the information we posted on there about the improvements going on there. We get a lot of questions about this one. So that's all I had to show you. I can try and answer any questions you have about it.
Anyone have any questions?
It's a wild moment for me.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
It's great.
This
Really
this
is.
was, I want to thank Kenny Lohr with the IT department, Patty Reef with Public Works, and Vanessa Maldonado and Sandra Reller, and then the people over at Water Resources, especially Gordon and Mariana Christova is our GIS specialist, and also David Jordan and Mark Jones as well as another intern that we have.
Thank you very much. It's, any other questions? Go right ahead.
Yeah, and just, I think Member Diesel hit on it, like, that's amazing. And it's operational, so I'm just asking for citizen feedback. In part of this process build, have you had an opportunity to take a small group of citizens for review, or just to see if from functionally, to me, it's like a no-brainer, but I don't know, you know what I mean? So.
Well, we've shown it, a lot of the realtors have come to rely on it. We do still get questions from some people who obviously are still not as savvy of using online interactive apps and maps.
Right.
Well, we try to help them through it. A lot of realtors, a lot of brokers, developers, they rely on this now. We have some usual contractors that we deal with have come to rely on it as well. We are always open and helpful to be able to open to train anybody or teach anybody how to use the information. What's good about some of it is there's always these links that we can create and just put into an email and send to someone. They can open up and see exactly what we're talking about when they have the same conversation on the phone and look at the same thing at the same time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I just had a comment too.
Sure.
So, wow, as Member Diesel said, I am thoroughly impressed with what you guys have done. This helps me tremendously as a council member, and then to go back to citizens and say, hey, check this out. You can kind of understand that process a little bit more. And then just to touch on, I just got back from the Florida annual conference at the league, and just knowing we have GIS mapping is huge. Like, so you guys have really raised the bar, in my opinion, like, and stepped it up a lot, and I just want to say thank you.
Anyone else? I don't see any, but thank you from all of us, certainly. That's a great job. Job well done. Thank you. Next, sir.
On 12 June 2018, Mr. Glenn Tollison, Code Enforcement Division Manager, provided a report on the code enforcement process and the code enforcement activities to the Community Redevelopment Agency. The CRA asked the staff to review the code for items that might be changed, amended, and improved, and bring back recommendations to the CRA. Prior to reporting back to the CRA, Mr. Tollison will describe to the City Council the actions the code enforcement staff are taking to remedy nuisance and blighted issues throughout the city, process improvement opportunities, and code and funding recommendations for Council to consider. Mr. Tollison, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone, and that'd be kind of hard to follow that, but after meeting with the CRA, and we went back and we looked, and one of the things that we saw early on is we probably don't do enough education here with the citizens of what we do and how we get there. So that being said, I went back through all my years of various things that I've done, and as you can see, I worked a strategy program that we're going to start utilizing. We started having meetings with Community Development, Neighborhood Services, Public Works, Economic Development, and putting all of that think power together, and trying to come up with different approaches perhaps we can use, as well as timelines. And some of the things that we saw while I spoke last time about the tarps and the boarded up, those can still be some issues. And some of those probably later on would probably need to be addressed. I also spoke about tall grass. Well, in working with community development, I know that there's some things that are coming with landscape where if you start using Florida native grasses and those kind of things, well, 12 inches is about where that's going to lie. So you may not want to mess with that number. You may want to leave it and allow the opportunity for us to work with them and continue on. Well, we know that normal grasses shouldn't be that high, but there are some that may. So there's really not, I mean, the codes are sufficiently right where they are. They don't really need a lot of tweaking. I think what we need to do is do a better job of getting the information out of what we do. A lot of the people we go to, I'll be honest with you about, you only see them once or twice. And there are some that we see every month to remind them to mow, and we know that. Some of the other things that we looked at was we have a demolition list that started out with 15 homes on it that were in some shape of needing to come down. Well, as we've gone through, actually, we're down to 9. And out of those 9, 2 are actually trying to be rehabbed as we speak. They have building permits on them. But some of the others are still needing to come down. And it takes funds to do that, about anywhere from $6,500 to $7,800 to do that. And additionally, on top of that, one of them is in the South Leon area, which is a quite large project that's got several liens on it. But that is on the list, and we're addressing those issues. But with that being said, taking in everything that y'all provided, and if you had the opportunity to look at some of the stuff that we've put together, be welcome to any suggestions. With that, and then additionally, as you saw earlier tonight, the Lean Six Sigma, well, actually, the code process was a project of that, and we found some 4 quick wins that we've done. It's already had a cost savings to the city at around $6,000 this year in our current budget. So, and it was just doing things like changing how we do the agenda, how we do our minutes, how we do our posting. We provide the code board now with PowerPoints and the laptops so they actually see everything as we go through. And that was the last phase of that project, was to get to those presentations to the code board, so they see what we're actually, we give them the code, what we're proving, and the data, how we got there. So with that, I'll be open to any questions or suggestions.
Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
Thanks. So I think the strategy outlined in the CRA block by block program.
Yes, sir.
I get that, and I like that a lot. And then I think of, and I'll use Main Street as an example outside the scope of the CRA.
Yes, sir.
But I would consider it to be a vital corridor for us as because of the bike trails and it coming off. Are there additional portions of our community, if we only have so many resources and so much time, and we're going in concentrated effort, possible block by block or so on and so on, is the intent, can you talk to me about how the intent is of, as an example, I would think that would be a priority for, in addition to the CRA, that kind of block by block to get it. How do we choose a portion of town, or how do we choose the priorities?
Well, actually, the CRA is one in itself, and with that, I've been working with Brad, and using the GIS, we actually plotted all of the current cases within the CRA, and then we actually applied that to the specific area you just spoke to is what we call the NICE area, and it too has a designated code officer just to it. Okay. And we're starting to plot those. So there are a lot of things that we're going to continue to do and improve on. And again, the strategy plan was a working, living document. And it's only going to succeed with the help of the community. But we do that. We go out, I mean, the officers, they know those areas. We work some harder than other. I can probably tell you street by street or various areas. But with that being said, though, following what we've been trying to do for the last 4 years, a lot of that stuff is done by first reinspection. I think last month we had over 600 that were corrected. And that's our goal. Yes, sir.
Sure.
I really appreciate these brochures that you put in our packets. My question would be, do you think, just to help with the educational efforts, we could potentially put these in little, I don't know, a couple sentences or paragraphs to post on social media outlets that we could potentially then share out to people just to help with the educational aspect?
Yes, ma'am, we can. We can do that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Anyone else? I see none. I thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Fine job. Next item.
Yes, sir. Letters of appreciation we've received this month. I'd like to read them for the record. From Community Development Department, Ms. Kim Amick, Lori Dargy, Darcy Floss, Terry Franklin, Mandy Lamoth, Edie McCall, Sam Esorio, and from our Water Department, Mr. Mike Green.
Very good. Thank you. Petitions and requests from public present. Would anybody like to speak? There isn't a lot of public out there, but I see none. Council, anything else you'd like to bring up during this meeting? I see nothing. With that, I'll call this meeting adjourned. Next meeting will start at 6:30.